Hello guys and welcome back. Today I'll just like to talk about the general stock market, some of the comments I have on certain industries and certain stocks, and some of the news events surrounding the stock market. So as you can see today, the stock market's around down 2.5%, 2%, and it was all the way down to around 4% on the S&P, but has recovered remarkably around 2 to 2.5%. And it shows a lot of volatility in the markets. The markets at one point were only down 1.5, and then went down to around 4, and then back up to negative 1.1, and now is again down negative 2.1. Same thing can be said about the Nasdaq and the QQQ. However, they have more violent sell-offs due to the fact that some of the companies in the Nasdaq don't make profits, and due to the Fed raising rates, probably that'll eat into the corporate profits and make unprofitable companies even more unprofitable. So some stocks that I noticed which were very interesting were Shopify. Shopify was down 12% and then went up all the way to 7% in the green, marking a 21% move, and is back down to positive 3%. But there were some stocks in some industries which are up big. For example, Kohl's, Unilever, were all candidates of buyouts from activist investors. So what activist investors do is that they go in, they buy a lot of stock in a certain company, and then they change the board, they change the management system, change how the company makes profits, how they generate revenue, and they do that so their stock price can appreciate themselves. So they play an active role, while most investors like me and you are passive, where we don't have much control on what Kohl's does. So activist investors usually take big chunks, 30, 40, even 50% of the company at times. So these are large players in the field. Kohl's got a buyout rumor from Sycamore, a large institution. So as you can see, they're up 31%, as the buyout was around $60 a share. Same thing about Unilever. However, Unilever was not a buyout. It was a big investment from activist Tryon Takes. He is known for turning around companies which are usually in a losing position. However, Unilever is not really in a losing position, but they've been very stagnant in the past 5 years, and he believes he can turn this around and make this, $100 stock in the future. So why is the stock market going down in general? Well, there's no one knows for sure, but essentially what people think is that the Fed's plan to hike interest rates will probably be very detrimental to growth companies specifically, including the Nasdaq and the small markets, the IWM, and that's what's eating into the corporate profits. However, this week we have a lot of earnings: Microsoft, Apple, IBM, Adobe, Tesla. So we will see whether that information is true or not. But the most important thing is guidance. Netflix reported pretty bad guidance, and that's why the stock is down over 25% since the earnings date. However, I think the main issue is probably valuations coupled with the Ukraine news. The U.S. did pull out all diplomats and their families from Ukraine, so they anticipate a Russian takeover of Ukraine, which is pretty bad news for the United States. That's all I have. Please leave a like and subscribe.